Hey everybody, how you doing? Uncle Vinny here. You know what's coming up? That's right, Health Chat. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Good evening. You're listening to Talk Radio 102.3. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You're listening to Health Chat. We're hanging out, relaxing. Phone lines are open, 267-1023. Give us a call here. If you got something that you want to talk about, hear about, even think about, because we're good tonight, Joe. I think we can read people's minds. Just hold.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Just put your head against the dashboard and see if we can see what you're thinking. I don't think so. We're actually running live on Facebook. I'm always trying a new system here, and so I'm using my earbuds because it's a lot more comfortable instead of having something over my head. And we're trying to get this sound over onto the internet, and hopefully because we're in a gig city, we should be like flying through this.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like it's been crazy how good our internet is. I go up to my my in-laws and they don't have internet like we have internet. They still have like dial-up. No, I'm serious. It's terrible. They live in West Virginia. You go up there, you're practically Amish because the internet's terrible. Literally terrible.
I was in West Virginia recently, and some of the parts I traveled through, I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever been to Snowshoe?
Never been to Snowshoe.
Okay, you go right past where they live in Snowshoe. As a matter of fact, barnyard builders, at the end of their barn, or the boneyard that they call where they keep the barns,
yeah,
right at the end of that fence, you make a right, and that's where my in-laws live. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. The banjos stop playing before you even get there. It's just
can't hear them anymore.
Nope. But it's beautiful country. In the wintertime, you watch the snowfall. In the summertime, you listen to the grass grow. That's just what happens. I mean, there's really nothing to do, and no cell service. Literally no cell service.
That sounds somewhat enticing.
It is until you need to do something.
Until there's an emergency?
Yes, yeah. Until there's an emergency that you have to do something, and it's been kind of crazy. I normally don't do this, but I got to tell you something that I did last week with my grandson. We went and we made sushi. We went to I'm going to just say it, Sweet and Savory. They didn't say, hey, do this, Doc. They don't even know who I am probably. But my grandson and I, Nicholas, we went there, and for 6 hours, no, just kidding. It was 3 hours. It felt like 6 hours, but it was 3 hours. And we learned how to make sushi. Now, let me tell you something. It's very challenging learning how to cook with a 6-year-old.
I'm not surprised.
With a 6-year-old. His mom said, well, how did he do? I said, I only had to say Nicholas about 1,000 times. Nicholas, don't touch the knife.
So you can make sushi now.
Yeah, and we did that last Friday. I bought a kit on the internet, and it comes with a little, everything you want comes into this kit. You can buy anything from Amazon, right? So I bought this kit, and we made sushi, and we had a lot of fun doing that. It was like a family thing. And people are going like, so what are you telling me about your family? Why we really don't care. But what's interesting about that? We were talking last week about dieting. We talk about exercising. And as a matter of fact, I got a great exercise for your abs. I was working out today, and I was doing some Beachbody stuff. And the girl that was doing her thing is called Autumn Calabrese. And she had this awesome workout routine for your abs. You do 5 sets of stop eating crap. That's what
it works.
And she was like, oh, man. You know where abs are made, right?
Where?
In the kitchen.
Yeah.
They are.
That's true.
That's where they're, and it's like, we were talking about portion control and all of this stuff. And, we all talk about diets. You have several diets. You have the paleo diet. You have the keto diet. You have the Mediterranean diet. You have I'm going to eat grass in the backyard diet. We have all of these diets that and they've come and they've gone. The Atkins diet now is more of the keto diet, and buy this keto, buy that keto. And I've come to a conclusion that if what I put in my mouth has more than 5 ingredients, I'm not going to put it in. Did I tell you I'm starting to write a diet book?
No.
Yeah, I am. I can't get past the first 7 words. I'm having a hard time. It says, if it tastes good, spit it out. I can't get past that because that's exactly what it is. It's so good, and we were talking about this.
So you wrote a brochure, pretty much.
Yeah, not even that. I wouldn't even be. It wouldn't even be considered
a Post-it note.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was too small for that. But it couldn't even been like a verse, a daily verse. Tastes good, spit it out. But we have such a hard time with dieting and eating. But I think the most important thing, and the only diet that I looked at that really talks about this, that really mentions like an aspect of dieting that I think we've all missed. Like I had it when I was a kid. You probably had it too, Joe, and a lot of our listeners probably have had it as well. We had family dinners. We didn't sit in front of the TV.
Yeah.
We didn't, stay on our phones. And let me tell you something. That's what we do. If you go into a restaurant and watch people eat, they're on their phones. A couple on a date are on their phones.
On a date.
On a date. What are they doing? They're texting their friends. She is so sweet. Oh, he is so handsome. I don't like the way he eats that. That's what they're doing. They're texting people on their date instead of getting into their date. Well, the only diet that I had found that incorporates socialization is the Mediterranean diet. It makes so much sense. Growing up as a kid, I'm an Italian kid. Growing up, we had like food.
Now, why is that?
Why is what? That the only diet?
Yeah.
It's part of the plan. I don't know. I think because they get it right.
Is it just because of the cultures that normally
I think so.
When,
in the Mediterranean, you have family dinners. I remember growing up as a kid, we would have family dinners. Now, we weren't really heavy. We would have great food and healthy food. Well, not really healthy food. Well, yeah, it was because it was freshly made. The ingredients were bought fresh. We weren't eating processed foods. I remember my grandmother making sausage in the basement. Now, when I say a basement, I'm not talking about like, a dungeon where we're talking, a finished basement and, there was an area to cook in and things like that. And especially when it was hot out, it was cooler down there. And she would make sausage. I remember there was a bean that we used to get. It was called lupinis. If you've ever heard of a lupini, you need to call here, 267-1023, because not many people know what that is, but they're great. And Grandpa used to soak those lupinis for days until they got soft, and then you would put salt on them, and you would eat them. They look like a butter bean, but they don't taste like a butter bean, and they're great. And it's like that was our snack. We weren't chewing on candies and things like that. We were eating, healthy foods growing up. And I remember, over here, Grandpa was making the lupinis. Over here, Grandma was, making the sausage. And over here, the wine was being made. We made homemade wine.
So let me ask this: what time was your dinner usually?
We usually ate probably about 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. So
yeah.
that's now considered when old people, quote unquote, old people eat dinner at 5 o'clock. So do you think it's got to be with people's work schedules, and sometimes I know for me it's been an issue in the past where I don't get home till 8:30 at times, and I'm eating dinner then, and then it's just straight to the couch after that. So do you think that maybe later dinner times or earlier dinner times could help out with that, because you can still get out and maybe take a quick walk and be a little more active than you would with those later dinner times?
Oh, absolutely, because, I remember part of the socialization of, and I really think that you could take any diet that you want to and do that, but what I find really interesting is growing up as a kid, we ate at 5 o'clock, you're done about 6:30, you're having a cup of coffee, maybe a piece of cake, you're sitting out on the front porch, you're relaxing and enjoying the family. The phone would ring and I'll get it later. Now, the phone rings, you're picking it up. It's like, hello? Well, hey, this is Bill from Publishers Clearing. Really? I got that today, by the way. I picked up the phone. I should have picked it up, and it was Publishers
You won.
Clearinghouse.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I was like, get out of here. This is ridiculous. Publishers Clearinghouse. So
we know you show up at my door. You don't call.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But we're going to take a quick break, aren't we? So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about dieting and making it a social thing, because I think that's where we're making the mistakes. And I didn't want to talk a lot about this, and I got some other things I want to talk about that we're doing in the office. So give us a call here, 267-1023. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You're listening to Health Chat. Give us a minute, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone, and you're listening to Health Chat. Phone lines are open, 267-1023. If you have any chiropractic needs or would like to ask questions, maybe not on the radio, you can give me a call at the office at 423-855-7376. Just talk to Shay. She'll take care of everything. I guarantee she will make you smile and make your day because she is awesome. And, to my Facebook family, thank you for watching. We're having so much fun here hanging out. And I'm just loving this, Joe. I'm just loving hanging out in the studio, relaxing. And, I'm worried that Facebook's going to yell at me for, using like copyright songs. But, with what's interesting about this is that we're doing a live radio show. So I'm hopefully that the radio show, we have all the licensure for all of this, and hopefully that covers a lot of it. So that's a good thing.
We're good.
I love this medium. I love it so much. But to be able to broadcast it out there, I mean, we're going to get ready, and I think we're going to expand it into Facebook. I'm looking into not Twitter, but I'm looking into LinkedIn. And what's the other one that I'm looking into? Instagram. I don't know if we can do live. That might not come out the way I want it to, but it's something we're going to try. And like I said, we're new to not radio. I mean, we've been doing radio for over 20 years.
Yeah.
But this is a new kind of medium. How we're trying to bring this together. And I will tell you this before we get into anything else. I am one of those doctors that I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm here to help people. I like the idea that I can do what I do because I can help people and find out things about you and be able to direct you in the positions that I want to. I had something interesting happen today before we get back into the dieting that I'm a little, it bothers me a little bit. I have a patient that really, really needs to get in to see the surgeon. You heard me say that, right?
Yeah.
I'm a chiropractic orthopedist, and I do send people out for surgery when it's necessary. They're telling me that they can't get to this person for 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. And I've tried everything I possibly can, have sent them for, advanced imaging, advanced injections, things like that, and they're still in pain, and they need this. We've done everything that we can short of that. They're going to need this surgery because of what's going on, and I can't get them in, and it's driving me crazy. And do you know why I can't get them in?
Lack of staffing?
Bingo!
Yeah.
That's it. Its staff is really hard. And we've been struggling with staff too, Joe. It's basically Shay and I at the office. She's phenomenal. She is phenomenal. I can't say that enough. But, we're getting to the point now where it's like, okay, how are we going to do this? But it's staff. People don't want to work. Or if they do work, they only want to give you like 20%. I'm like, you're at the office. Give me 100%, please.
What do you contribute that to? Is that just with everything that's happened here in the last couple years?
I think we've come to a point in our society where people are entitled.
Well, that's a fact. Yeah.
It's like you have to work for something to be entitled. There is no consequence for bad behavior.
Facts.
It's like, well, I can't believe you're going to fire me because I didn't show up for 4 weeks. Really? Really? Oh, no. This is true stuff that I'm talking about. This is not something I'm making up. So, all of this to be said that we are an entitled. And it's like, I want it instantly. I ordered something from Amazon. I was ticked because it was a day late. I'm like, serious? I can't believe I did that. I was a little upset because I needed it. It was one of those things I needed it. It was supposed to be here and it, got stuck in. I'm like, oh my gosh. What happened to like layaway where you put it on layaway and you had to wait 7 months to pay it off to get it? Now it's instant and we get it in there. So it's crazy, which, we talk about this and we're talking about like, my staff, and we're talking about staff of doctors, but this falls right into what we talked about dieting, and dieting is so specific to an individual. It's an individual's choice to diet. If you are in a family of 5, that family of 5 is not going to diet the same way that you're dieting.
Right.
Now, if your wife is dieting, you're dieting. Okay. If you're going to cook, the person in the family, everybody else is dieting with you. Whoever holds the knife and fork and cuts the meat and cuts everything else up, you're going to be dieting.
I've heard it a number of times. I'm not cooking for 3 different meals.
That's right. I'm not
is.
doing it. You know what? Go outside, do something else. So, and we're running here, running there. We're not spending the time with family like we should be spending time with family. So what's happening? We're creating a society of kids and adults at this point, and I'm to blame for this. I want my kids to have everything that they want, but yet it's my fault because they want it today. They want it right now. We make them impulsive. So how can we, as a society, be healthier?
Because, sorry to interrupt.
Go.
It's leading into what you just said, but we want that weight loss immediately now.
Exactly.
So when we don't have immediate success or not the success we thought we would have, it's like, forget it.
But we don't want to work for things, Joe. That's the problem. Yeah. We don't want to work for our health. We don't want to work for a place. We want everything to be this utopia. And so we're giving away our rights because of that. That's a whole nother show right there. But we're giving away our rights as individuals so that way we can fall in line to get the things that we want that we don't have to work for. And the people that are in charge of all of this love that fact, because if we can make you sheep, you will become sheep.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening right now. You don't want to work, you don't have to work. You don't. You should be getting paid this much money an hour. We'll make sure you get paid this much money an hour. Are you worth that much money? A lot of people aren't.
A lot of people.
They raised and we're going off on a tangent, but we're coming back to this, and I'll explain why. But we want everybody to pay $15 an hour. You're going to get $15 an hour. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So what have big companies have been doing? When was the last time you were in Walmart, Joe?
It's been a little bit.
Okay. If you're listening, give us a call here at 267-1023 and tell me the last time you were in Walmart and saw a bunch of cashiers. Or did you scan your own groceries and items? What they've done is they got rid of the people that they were going to have to pay this money to and put in electronics so that you do your own bidding and they don't have to pay those people. That machine doesn't take a break, doesn't fall into OSHA rules. That's it. So we're creating a society.
No workers' comp for that machine.
Exactly. We're creating a society that is dependent on what other people do. So when we talk about medicine, it is easier for you to take a pill than to eat right. It is easier for you to have surgery than to exercise and do the things that you're supposed to do to prevent you from having surgery. I'm not saying all surgeries are unnecessary. There are surgeries that can be avoided by lifestyle changes, but we're not doing that. And we talked about it earlier when we were talking about, and we brought the Mediterranean diet in because it's the only diet that talks about socialization with eating. And that right there gives the family that unity of being a part of something and not being an individual who is now, it's all about me. When you're with your family, I remember growing up as a kid, it wasn't all about me. I thought it was, but it wasn't all about me. It was about the family. What can we do to help maintain the family? What can we do? And that's what we learned sitting at dinner. We didn't realize that, but we did. We learned basically the facts of life by being with the family, knowing who is the head of the family, knowing the pecking order of the family, and realizing that by being in that situation, we were going to have security and we were going to have the things that we needed. We might not have had everything, but we had the things that we needed and we had that love because it was there. You weren't seeing kids living in a 4,000 square foot home, 2 parents and 2 kids, and they have their separate rooms and nobody talks to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What happened to the homes? Our homes were small homes. The average home was about 2,000 square feet. You bumped into each other. You were in each other's way. But you know what? I kind of like that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but we...
The older I get, the more I appreciate that.
Yes, and we don't... See, that's the thing. We forget where we came from, Joe.
Yeah.
We want our kids to have better than we had. I don't think they're having better than we have. I don't think so.
They have more problems than we have, or we had.
Well, and that's a whole nother show, too, because we're going to be talking about anxiety. And, we had Reagan on with us, and she was explaining what she's going through as a 17-year-old. So can you imagine? I mean, there is so much mental health going on right now, and I think a lot of it can be avoided if we stop for a minute, look past ourselves, and say, how can I make things better? And how do we do that? We start at home. Let's start having dinners together. Let's start doing things together. This weekend, and I think I mentioned it to you earlier, I have my grandsons with me and my daughter. My son-in-law is in the service, and he has been deployed for a little bit over into Germany. So we try to be with the family as much as we possibly can. I mean, I love being with them. It's just one of those things. And yes, it's a little crazy, but that family unit, being with them, does something. It gives me those endorphins to be with them. You don't have to spend all of this money to do things. Just being with them and showing them love, showing them care. Like, hey, I feel safe, I feel comfortable, and that's what I want my family to do. But I'm just as busy as everybody else. I have to pull the reins back and say, okay, how do I slow this down? I'm gonna turn on Netflix and I'm gonna binge watch with my wife. So as we went off on this tangent, we'll be back. We're gonna take a quick break. You're listening to Talk Radio 102.3. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. Give us a call here at 267-1023. You can call my office at 855-7376, and we'll be back. And we're back. I get all charged up when we listen to this. Listen to the Blues Brothers. You're listening to Health Chat. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You're listening to Talk Radio 102.3. Give us a call here, 267-1023. You can call me at the office. I always give you that. It's 423-855-7376. Joe, this is a talk radio show, and nobody's talking but us. I love this. People want to listen to what we have to say and go, okay, what's he going to say now? I mean,
I can imagine there's a lot of people shaking their heads like, yep, that's right.
You're right on, Doc. You got that right on. We've been, if you've just tuned in, we've been talking about diet, exercise, and like how life should be. And, we really haven't been talking about exercise, but we were talking about dieting and how individual it is, and how we should not really be focusing on so much of our diet, putting in the foods in our body that are really going to be more beneficial to us. We talked about eating the M&Ms and the pizzas and things like that. Well, I like that, and every once in a while it's okay to have that. But if you can set a goal for yourself. I don't want anything past 5 ingredients in my food. Think about this. I was thinking about when I was growing up as a kid. Okay, what did we have? Thursdays and Sundays were macaroni day. We didn't call it pasta, it was macaroni. It was gravy, not sauce. So, but we had pasta. Sometimes the pasta was handmade. How's that?
Lovely.
Right? Yes. And sometimes, Grandma would buy it, because it was easier, but it was homemade sauces. The meats were fresh. They weren't, and the ingredients that were in there might have been 10 ingredients, but a lot of them were spices. Nothing was crazy. Nothing was preserved, and we tried to eat fresh. I remember, I gave you a hint when I was in college and we were going through nutrition classes. One of the things that my professor said, he said, fresh is best, frozen is second, canned, you take the stuff out of the can, you wash it out, you throw it away and eat the can. It's just, but that's true. You can't do that. And we are so allergic to things now because we're putting so many things in our body that don't need to be there. We were talking about, Joe and I were talking early at the break. We're doing blood testing in the office. It's expensive. I'm telling you that right now. It's expensive. It's vast. It's blood work, urine analysis, hair analysis, stool analysis. It's the whole kit and caboodle to find out what you're doing. And I am now on 21 vitamin supplements. You're going like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Well, they're because I've been thinking I'm eating healthy, and I'm not. So now we're going to have to start thinking of as food is medicine rather than medicine's going to cure me. I need to be eating better so I don't have to take all this medicine. We talked about this earlier in last show. 2 things that are reversible and preventable through diet is heart disease and diabetes. Top on the list. Have you ever seen somebody lose a limb because of diabetes? Yeah, we have too. And I see it often. And that's just terrible to me. Some people can't avoid that because but some people are diabetics and just, they don't take care of themselves. And because they figure that the doctor is going to take care of himself. I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. Next week, we're going to be talking about patient advocacy. And I'm not talking about the doctor being a patient advocate. I'm not talking about your insurance company being a patient advocate. I'm talking about you being your own patient advocate for your own health care because it's coming down the pike. And this is the start of it. We need to be eating properly, looking for foods that are going to help heal us rather than harm us. And that's really hard to do. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's so easy to eat from the inside of the grocery store rather than in the periphery.
I was about to say that same thing.
Yeah. The periphery is where we need to be. I mean, not everything's there because, when you get through the cash out line, there's all kinds of garbage. But this is where we need to be thinking. And another thing, Joe, you said something earlier. We think of eating of like, hey, even when I was a kid, the biggest meal of the day was dinner. That was the family time. That's when we spent time. And sometimes breakfast, it depending on the family dynamics. And, was dad home and were you leaving when he was leaving? And now we're leaving. I'm out of the house at 5:30 every morning. It's hard to sit down and have breakfast with my wife. But I remember that was the meal of the day. But we did, and we were active afterwards. And we're not doing that. We're eating, and then we're sitting on the couch and just becoming a vegetable. But a vegetable. What we need to be thinking about is, and whether you do the paleo diet, whether you do the keto diet, whether you do the DASH diet, if you're doing the SAD diet, the standard American diet, it's
sad diet.
It is a sad diet. Standard American diet. It's terrible. Whatever diet you pick, one of the things that you really have to think about is, and I heard somebody say this, I mean, this is years of all of this nutritional stuff coming in, and people are going like, why are you're a chiropractor, why are you talking about nutrition? Are you kidding me? This inflammation comes from your nutrition. That's why we talk about this. This is why we're going to be drilling a lot of this. But one of the things that you have to think about is you need to eat like a king in the morning, eat like a prince in the afternoon, and as a pauper at night. We have to do that. And we need to have that fast and what is breakfast? It's the breaking of the fast. So intermittent fasting is good, but how are you intermittent fasting? People are really messing with that. When you start intermittent fasting, it messes with your circadian rhythms. So let's say I'm only going to eat between the hours of 10 and 11 at night. That's not good. Or I'm only going to eat between the hours of 6 and 10 between 6 and 10 at night, and I'm not going to eat after that. And then people gorge themselves. What we need to be doing is we need to be eating, like I said, kings, princes, and paupers. And at night, we need to stop eating at 6 and not eat till 6 the next morning. That intermittent fast will be healthier for you, and you will see better benefits, and you will see a difference in weight, in your weight. And if you're dieting and people go, well, I'm only going to be on a 500-calorie diet, and I'm going to take all these supplements, and you're going to lose weight left and right for 500 calories. You need to sustain the engine that's functioning for you. You need to eat a good balanced foods and putting the right foods in. You can have a 2,000-calorie diet of fruits, vegetables, lean meats, not refined carbohydrates, but simple carbohydrates, or you can eat 2,000 calories of Twinkies. Which one do you think is going to be better for you?
I'm going with the former.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying anything you guys don't know. I'm just telling you, it's like we need to be doing something to make the change to become healthier.
You nailed it right there. We all know what's healthy and what's not. We just don't do it.
But we have to. I know a lot of guys that and women that you'll hear podcasts, you'll see them on the radio, and they're talking about, you need to drink 15 ounces of water every 20 seconds, until you have 20 gallons of water that day, and stop. Why are we making this so flipping complicated? Let's make this simple. How can I eat to sustain my body and to stay healthy? 5 ingredients should be your maximum that you look at. Watch the times that you eat and watch the processed foods. If it says processed, get rid of it. Give you a good example of a process. If you eat a whole grain cereal, is that a processed food or is that a whole food?
I would say processed.
It is. So when you have whole wheat bread, is that a process or is that not a process?
Processed.
Exactly. Yeah. So when if I give you steel cut oats, is that processed or not processed?
Not processed.
Exactly. So what we need to do is we need to be thinking about this, having our mindset changed. I should be eating more fruits, less vegetables. But you want to eat vegetables? I'm sorry. More vegetables. I said it backwards. More fruits, more vegetables, less fruits. But we still need to eat both because your fruits contain a lot of sugars. We want to get that fresh and that fiber in. And, one of the things I did want to talk about is we take vitamins, we take minerals, we eat certain foods. One thing that we're not taking care of, Joe, and our health is so dependent on it, is our bowels. If we don't help fix the bowels, no matter what you take, no matter what you put in your body, it's not going to work. It's just not going to happen. Now, when I say your bowels, people go, well, I have gut issues. I have, I'm allergic to gluten. I'm allergic to, I have celiac disease. I have Crohn's disease. I have IBS. And then you look at what they eat and you go, no wonder you have that because it's crazy. Or they turn around and go, what was the last bowel movement? 2012?
That might be an issue.
Yeah, but this is what we're having. And this is so normal for people. A normal daily bowel movement is not really normal. We need to have 1 to 2 to 3 a day. I bet you there's nobody that'll call in and go, I have 3 a day. Very few people do that. Or they'll have it every other day or every third day. I know people that don't go for a week. They come into my office with these musculoskeletal pains and this inflammatory process. And I'm thinking to myself, get your diet going. Put some fiber in your body. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about fiber when we come back. No, we won't. I'll tell you a funny story about fiber in a minute. So give us a call here, 267-1023, pound. No matter pound. There's no pounds. Why did I say pound, Joe? Give us a call here at 267-1023. I'm so excited. And call the office at 423-855-7376. And we'll be back. And we're back. Talk Radio 102.3. Top of the hour, Joe. Top of the hour.
Time flies by when you're having fun. That's
I know.
the old saying,
I'm having
right?
way too much fun doing this. You're listening to Health Chat. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone here every Tuesday night, hanging out with Cowboy Joe, enjoying the heck out of this. I get so charged. I got so charged up. I went back 20 years and started talking about pound. Actually, they didn't have pound 20 years ago. We didn't even know what a cell phone. I had a cell phone that was the size of a suitcase. My very first cell phone. Seriously.
One of those, like, car?
No. Well, I had a car phone, too, and then I had one of those big ones. I mean, literally.
Like a backpack.
Yeah, I was microwaving a sandwich and talking on the phone at the same time. It was one of those things. It's crazy how it is. But, for those of you guys just tuning in, I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You're listening to Health Chat. We are having way too much fun. If you know someone, if you're watching it on Facebook, tell your friends about us. Get on. I guarantee that you will be entertained and informed from the stuff that we're talking about. We're not going to talk about something new. We're not reinventing a wheel. We're just talking about common sense stuff and how to make your life better. We're going to be talking about health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your overall well-being, and what's important about it. Everybody was wondering, what kind of doctor is this guy? I am actually a chiropractic orthopedist. I am the only chiropractic orthopedist in Chattanooga. Actually, in a large area. What that means is I just went to school for a lot longer than other guys did. That's just the biggest thing. And our office is very different. If you've ever been to a chiropractor, you've had a good experience. If you've had a bad experience, you need to try our office because it's very different. And, we were just talking about that. I'm not going to be self-serving here. I'm just going to be talking to you and telling you stuff. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And, we are what we are, and we are who we are. So we were talking about dieting before, and just the whole atmosphere of not just dieting. Let's stop talking about dieting, because dieting is a 4-letter word. We don't really, I'm surprised you didn't beat me every time I said diet. People don't understand that. You have the curse button there. If I say something bad, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that.
Ejector seat as well.
Exactly.
You didn't know about that one.
No, I didn't know about that. That's new. That's the James Bond feature. It comes okay. So, but what's interesting about this is, we were talking about dieting, but it's really not dieting. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. It's a way of doing things differently. Politically, there's turmoil in the world. We just know that. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things that are coming down the pike that we may start talking about, because it will affect your health overall. So what we want to do is we want you to be as healthy as you possibly can be without being dependent on the system. Even though I'm part of the system as a doctor, I'm not part of that pharmaceutical system. I want you to not take medications if you don't want. If you can avoid taking the medications, that's the best thing to do.
One of the most influential systems in this country.
Yes, exactly. Well, how much time do I have? Because I'll tell you what, I was just thinking about this, and it's I really
a little over 3 minutes.
I don't want to go down that road. Please don't make me go down that road, because it makes me crazy. But coming from a non-surgical, non-medicating practice, please do not think that I'm not for surgery. I'm against medicine. I'm gonna vilify, medical doctor. Stop. That's not what the show's about. These are my colleagues. I respect them. They respect me. We do things differently, but that doesn't mean it's not necessary what they do. I mean, please don't think that. And I know there's a lot of doctors out there that will just, if you take a pill, you're going to die. If you don't get an adjustment, you're going to die. And, I see all kinds of stuff that's just, stop. Let's be real about things and talk about things that are going to make a difference. And instead of us talking about diet, let's talk about, let's eat right. Let's get together with family. Let's improve what we have. We can only control our little box. You can't control what's going on in the Middle East. You can't control what's going on in the Ukraine. You have one voice. It's one vote. You make your vote. You do what you got to do. But you need to take care of your area of life.
Yeah.
What you have, with your family, you need to protect them, and you need to set the example. And I'm trying to set the example of, I want to be better at what I'm doing. I want to be healthy. I want to be that healthy guy when my grandkids get older. I don't want them having to push me around and, oh, here's grandpa. I don't want to be doing that.
You want to be out there playing with them.
If I can avoid that. I mean, sometimes we can't avoid. Some things happen. But if I can avoid not getting in those positions because I'm taking care of myself by doing the right thing. So as we wrap this up today, what should we be thinking about this week? Number one, think about eating foods that have 5 ingredients or less. Let's make it simple, 10 ingredients or less. And if you can't pronounce those ingredients, don't eat it. And if it's processed, stay away from it. That's probably the easiest thing you can do. Don't worry about, I'm gluten-free. Don't worry about keto. Don't worry about the diets. Worry about, if you can't pronounce what's in the food, don't eat it. Make sure you buy fresh or frozen. Make sure you eat things that we should be eating now that are healthy. Seasonal fruits, if we can get them.
Yeah.
And being careful. We'll talk next week. I'm going to talk about the 12 deadly vegetables and fruits because of all the pesticides that are in there. Well, you know what? We have come to the end of the hour. It is another Tuesday night. You've been listening to Health Chat. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You can always call us at 423-855-7376. And always, the phone lines will be open here at 267-1023. Joe, it's awesome. You've been great. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great night. We love you, and God bless.